guys for coming. We have a wonderful show tonight. Do you guys ever worry, guys, that I never know if like the shirt lines up with the belt, which lines up with the fly. I worry about it all the time backstage, right before I come out. I'm always like, it has to be in a line. That's why guys invented ties, so they wouldn't have to think about it as much. That's not like a prepared joke. So lower your standards. Anyway, we have a great show for you guys tonight. Kevin Renick is here. He wrote the theme song, not the theme song, he wrote the song Up in the Air for the movie Up in the Air, starring George Clooney. It's got a great story. It's cool, it's really cool. And we have a great musical guest. He wrote the song Up in the Air for the movie Up in the Air. He's gonna be a guest and a musical guest. It's rare. Not only that, boy, we have a great local brewery here on Commercial Street. Their name is White River Brewing Company, and we made a cool commercial for them. Check it out.
Quality yeast, exceptional hops, down to every detail of the equipment we use. Our passion is to deliver you the best beer you've ever tasted. So grab a drink, enjoy the taste, and know it was made with excellence. White River Brewing Company, excellence in a glass. We are required by law to disclose that White River is also the name of an unsuccessful cologne marketed to the elderly.
We're having fun. We're having fun. Hey, this is not fun. After the last taping of the Mystery Hour in October, while we were loading things up into a truck to take the set to storage and all of that, my bike was stolen, for real. It's a gold Raleigh M80 mountain bike, and it's out there somewhere. And it was stolen by someone who didn't require many skills because it was unlocked in the alley. With, by the way, my friend over here, Dave Smith. I called him and said, hey, I think my bike was stolen. Someone said they put it in the alley. Did you see it there? And he said, yeah, I put the helmet on it.
Yeah. Yep, that.
It's for real. So, anyway, I did the proper things, and I'd like to reenact a lot of these things here for you. First, I called the police, and I'd like to invite Sarah Jenkins out here to reenact my phone call with the police. Yes, I would like to report a stolen bike.
Okay, let me just get some information from you. The color?
Gold.
Okay, make?
Raleigh.
Model?
M80.
Okay, and then the serial number?
I don't know.
Okay, here's your case number, 123-456-789.
Okay.
I should tell you though, we can't do anything about it without the serial number. So.
What about all the information I just gave you with all the descriptions?
Yeah, I'm the only one who will see that. So.
I know that's not your fault, but that's ridiculous.
Sorry.
What if someone calls in and says they find a bike just like mine?
Nothing. The officer can only look it up by the serial number. So.
Come on, I'm not a computer guy, but I could make a Google spreadsheet for you and fix the problem.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We don't have any room in storage, so.
You don't need physical storage. Just keep that information.
Yeah, sorry. We can't do anything about that, sir.
NSA, are you getting this? Thank you. Sarah Jenkins. So I also wrote a Craigslist ad, and I'd like to read that for you now. If you see someone on my bike, moves on after I've given them the description, resist the urge to do nothing. More than that, resist the urge to beat them down. Simply engage them in conversation while you secretly dial my phone number. Once I arrive, I will take it from there. Here are some topics of conversation a bike thief might be interested in. What is your favorite kind of meth? Shania Twain has still got it. Agree, disagree. Want an Indian leg wrestle? Little old ladies sure fall down easily, huh? What is your favorite thing to yell when they land? What do you admire most about Somali pirates? Give a specific example. Nice bike. Did you leave your windowless Econoline van at home? What do you think is the most alluring candy to offer? Remember, engage them. Don't judge them. They need to think that you're one of them. Nod your head and say, uh-huh, a lot. I will be by shortly on my crappy 20-year-old bike soon enough to deliver swift justice. So that was that Craigslist ad. And then I wrote another one, and Dave's going to read that for you now.
But listen, you little punk. I hope you enjoy your little joyride, because I've got eyes and ears all over this town, and I have an army of people who believe in doing the right thing, and they are not afraid to act with the mayhem of sweet justice. They are not the only ones you should be afraid of. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you are looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have any money. What I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. If you let my bike go now, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you. And I will firmly ask for my bike back.
Yeah. That was inspired by the movie Taken with Liam Neeson. I also wrote another one and put it on casual encounters because it seemed like those were the type of guy that would steal a bike is used to trying to get something he doesn't have to work for. It was flagged and taken down because you can't look for your bike on casual encounters. If you don't know what casual encounters is, you're fine. So you see, if anyone finds my stolen bike, please call the Mystery Hour Stolen Bike Hotline, because this really is just one of the saddest things ever for me.
Cheer up, Jeff.
What? God, is that you?
No, it's me, Chris, from A&B Cycle. I found a microphone.
Oh, Chris, maybe, wait, but why should I cheer up? My bike is gone.
Because a bike you seek, a bike you shall receive.
Thank you. A&B Cycle's giving me a bike because I complained. You see, guys, there is good in this world. People do look out for each other. It's not such a nasty place after all, you know? Because sometimes you can just leave a bike and they won't necessarily... Oh, no, he's stealing it! We'll be right back with Kevin Renick. Tonight's guest is brought to you by A&B Cycle. You guys need to come to a live taping because you can hear me talking when I think my mic's off, but it's not. Oh, goodness gracious. Hey, we have a great guest with a great story you guys need to hear. He wrote the song Up in the Air for the movie starring George Clooney, Up in the Air, and how he got about being on that movie is pretty neat. So give it up for Mr. Kevin Renick. Kevin! Hello, sir. Have a seat. How are you?
I am good. Happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm happy you're here too. You don't live here.
I live in St. Louis.
Yeah.
But this has kind of become my home away from home in Springfield. I love it down here. It's just a great town.
Really?
I have never met a negative person in Springfield.
Yeah?
Everybody's just like cool and interesting and fun.
I need to introduce you to people I know.
I set you up for that, didn't I?
No, you're right. It's a great town. It's a great town. It's always nice for us people who are in a smaller place, for someone from a bigger place to say, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I'm unusual that way. It's like even though part of me loves cities, but I like a place that I can kind of learn easily and get around in. And St. Louis is sort of on the verge of becoming chaotic, but
You
down
like
here,
Springfield because it's simple.
it is. It's simple.
All
and
the streets
clear.
are in a grid. You don't have to think much.
Absolutely.
You can just put your car on cruise control and fall asleep. You'll end up somewhere near where you want to be.
That's right. And this place, to me, is actually one of the culinary capitals of the Midwest. There are so many great restaurants here. It's
Yeah.
amazing, just
Yeah.
amazing.
There's a great little Italian place. I don't know if you've tried it. Fazoli's.
I haven't, no.
You can have as many wet breadsticks as you want.
I think you're putting me on somehow.
No, it's true. They have wet breadsticks.
Okay, note to self.
So enough of me screwing around. Let's get to this story. So take us to where you were when this starts happening. Yeah.
Well, man, it was a crazy thing. Well, right before I was laid off from my job, I was starting to make music professionally. Well, not even professionally, but I played in public for the first time. And I was working on this song called Up in the Air because my life had a lot of loose ends and, wasn't sure what I was doing, where I was going. And then I got laid off from a job at an advertising agency where I'd been for like 10 or 11 years. And so all of a sudden I was a statistic. And so I finished this song, and I had called it Up in the Air. This is before I even knew about the movie. So within just a couple of months of that, it was just an amazing coincidence. I find out that a movie is going to be filming in St. Louis called Up in the Air.
Wow.
Now, most
That's
people...
weird because, sorry to interrupt.
No.
I have a similar story where I wrote a song called Alien versus Predator.
That's
you
good.
wouldn't believe it.
I'd like to hear that song, actually.
Alien versus Predator, they're gonna fight it out. Alien versus Predator, look out, one has gout.
I want to hear that song. Maybe we can collaborate sometime.
Collaborate, yeah.
So anyway, I was, I guess you could say, sort of down and out, and suddenly I'm unemployed, and I'm doing these very low-paying gigs at a little deli. But hey, Jason Reitman and George Clooney are coming to town.
Jason Reitman, the director.
Right, he was the director of the film Up in the Air. So I just thought in my mind, I didn't even know that much about the film. I thought George Clooney played a pilot or something when I first read about it. But I thought, if I could figure out some way to get the song to Jason Reitman, just maybe some kind of crazy miracle would happen. And so I found out he was going to do a lecture at Webster University, which was my alma mater. I went to college there. And the funny thing about the story is that I recorded the song on a little cassette, a cheap little Radio Shack cassette on a cheap cassette recorder.
And this is not the age, this is 2009?
Yeah, it was the end of 2008 when I made the recording, maybe very early 2009. But anyway, not only did I record it on this crappy cassette, but I even did this little spoken word intro. I said, hey, Jason, my name's Kevin, and I just lost my job, and here's a song about insecurity and uncertainty, and I just thought maybe it would work for your film. So, what kind of lunatic would do this? Approach a major film director with a song on a Radio Shack cassette. So I go to the lecture, and I waited for this Q&A, section to come up. And I asked some dumb question about how he chooses music for his films. And then he followed that up with a question. I said, hey, I wrote this song called Up in the Air, Jason. I wonder if you'd be good enough to listen to it. And there was like tittering in the audience, little chuckles, And there's a pause. And that pause, man, was really interesting. So he said, sure, certainly, I'll listen to it. The more interesting the way I get the music, the better.
Yeah.
So that was like kind of a go-ahead. But the thing is, I thought he was just being polite. So right after his lecture, he makes a beeline for the exit, and he was going to be gone in like seconds. So at that point, I had to make a decision. Am I going to be this bold, guy who takes this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, or am I going to just like listen to my pounding heart and just stay there and not worry about it? So I went after him, and I got him on the steps of Webster University. I said, okay, so Jason, here's the song. I handed him this 9x12 envelope with my little cassette and my little letter explaining why I thought it might work. And he goes, oh man, this is a cassette. I don't even know where I'm going to listen to this thing.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I thought he was going to just throw it in the trash within minutes after seeing me. So I thought that was the end of it. I
And
really
you don't
did.
hear anything for...
I hear nothing, and meanwhile, my life goes downhill. My mom dies. I'm broke. All kinds of terrible things happened.
Yeah.
And then that August, I get an email from his music producer, Randall Poster. And the subject line in my email was UITA. And I thought, what's that? UITA. And it was Up in the Air. And they said, dear Kevin, we would like to use your song in this movie, and let's talk about how we can make that happen.
And you said, yeah.
Well, I stared at this email. You'll appreciate this. Here's the funny thing. The first thing I did was call my brother in New York, who used to be an off-Broadway producer. And he said, dude, this is probably, bogus. He said, first of all, if they even do use your song, you're not going to be singing it. They're going to hire Miley Cyrus or somebody like that to sing it.
The foreign exchange student.
Yes, exactly. And he was totally skeptical that it would actually be my recording.
Yeah.
But I had several other calls from Randall, and they wanted to use my version of it. So.
I mean, the similarities between your song and my Alien vs. Predator song, I can't get over it.
I know, really, we got to talk.
But you are going to be nice enough to perform the song for us.
I will,
here.
sure, yeah.
Let's take a
Happy to.
commercial break and then have you perform it.
Okay, sounds
We'll
great.
be right back
Yeah.
with this guy still, Kevin Renick again. It's going to be great.
Good job. That was great.
Thanks a lot.
Tonight's musical guest is brought to you by Traders Printing and Design.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. You just heard him interviewed. Now we should hear him perform the song he was talking about during the interview. This is the song Up in the Air from the movie Up in the Air. Here he is, Kevin Renick.
I'm up in the air, choices drifting by me everywhere, and I can't find the one that would help me do the work I've left undone, 'cause I'm up in the air. I'm making some plans, finding out there's always new demands, and I can't be precise when people ask me what I'm doing with my life. I say it's up in the air. I'm hearing from friends, it's that tired old advice again. You just cannot keep floating all around. Oh, you've got to get your feet back on the ground. But it's hard to come down when you're up in the air. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Ooh. I'm traveling in my car, always lost though I don't go that far. I find that I could live most anywhere. Everyone I meet has so much they can share, but I don't settle down, 'cause I'm up in the air. my past, the comfort in my home that couldn't last. Now my family tells me work for your success, and they want to see me find some happiness. Well, I'm not sure where that is, 'cause I'm up in the air. I'm talking with my peers, listening to them tell their hidden fears. Some of lives that haven't gone the way they planned, and some are trapped in situations they can't stand. Well, I don't want the same for me, so I stay up in the air. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Ooh. I'm out in the woods. Something here does my heart so good. I breathe the air and I know that I'm alive. And I stare at all the birds as they fly by. I guess it all comes down to them, 'cause they're up in the air.
Great job. Thanks for doing that.
Thank you. You bet.
Kevin Renick. That is our show. That's all of it. Just so you guys know, 10% of our box office proceeds go to a great organization called Donate Life for organ transplant. If you're not an organ donor, you should be. And we're donating this money in memory of a great Mystery Hour fan and friend named Rick Parks. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back next week.